Good evening. Good evening, everyone. This is Pris Wood with No Ordinary Huddle. I know it's been a minute since we've been on, but we're back at it. Don't for 1 minute think we stopped talking about football. We just haven't had any shows. So, as always, I'm going to turn it over to my guests. We're going to go Brandie, Cornelius, Nicole. Just tell us who you are and who your team is.
So my name is Brandie. I'm with Minnesota Vikings. Um, Die hard bleed purple. Been this way for a minute, almost all my life. Well, all my adult life anyway. It's been one. We've had a season, and yeah, let's get into it.
Cornelius.
Yeah, Cornelius Prude, Cincinnati Bengals. Who they?
Who they? Who they? Skull.
Nicole.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
All right, it's Nicole McLamb, and my team is the Buffalo Bills. Hey,
Get it,
All right,
girl.
and as we know, I'm like a diehard Raiders fan. If you don't know, you better ask somebody. You really shouldn't have to ask anyone because I'm just like bleeding silver and black for years, and I'm talking decades.
Hmm.
But as you know, these are my guests from my football group on Facebook, National Football Lovers. We've been up for about 2 years, and this is a platform so we can get on and talk about our teams and pretty much everything that has to do with football, NFL, and everything like that. The first question I want to ask, because we've done this before, but it's been a minute, so if we have new listeners, I want to give you a chance to tell us how you became a fan of your team. We're gonna go Nicole. We'll go reverse. Nicole, Cornelius, and then Brandy.
I'm a lifelong Buffalonian, and my mother was a diehard Bills fan, so she passed that on to all of us. And my brother played little league football, and that kind of incited my passion into watching football a little closer. And he's a member of your group too, so he throws some comments every now and then. So
Wait,
that's
wait,
how I found my love
wait.
for football.
So you got to message me who your brother is because I'm gonna have to do a special show for that. But sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
Okay. He comments every now and then. I'm like, our last names are different, so you probably don't know it's him, but he'll throw a comment on there every now and
Yeah, you know me. I'm a detective. I'm gonna find out. All right, Cornelius. How about you?
then. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I've been a Bengals fan ever since I was a kid. My mother was a Bengals fan. Grandfather loved football, but he never really showed any allegiance to any particular team. And at that time when I was a kid, the Bengals were hot. Boomer Esiason, Icky Woods. So
Boomer. Go ahead.
Boom, boom.
I just kind of fell into it in love with them then. Wife's a Bengals fan. uh, her mom was a Bengals fan. I mean, I Bengals family, so I married into a Bengals family. So it kind of worked. It worked out great for
Okay.
me.
Okay.
All
How
right.
about you, Brandy?
All right. Well, I started loving football when my mom used to carry me on her hip, running up and down the field, chasing after my brother. As he's out there playing, wreck and pee wee. I was little and running up and down the field, and I'm bouncing on her hip. So I loved watching football as a little girl, and then grew into the more professional sport. In my teenage years, as my cousin played for years and years, one of the greatest receivers of all time, Chris Carter, and he moved up here and started in Ohio. Hey, I know all about who they and them Bengals. Hey, I know all
Hmm.
about them, Mr. Cornelius.
All
I'm
right.
from Ohio originally.
Okay.
Anywho, yeah, I'm from Middletown, as a matter of fact, right,
Oh,
right
yeah,
close
right
to
up
you,
the road
baby.
from me.
You
You
already
right,
know where I'm
right,
from. Yeah, yes,
right
sir,
down
yes,
the
sir.
road from me.
Right down the road, baby. 20 minutes from that
Nice.
Kentucky border. You already know. I yes. Anywho,
N-
so moved up here as we was younger. Then that all transition happened with Chris and whatever else, and then I just fell in love with the purple and the Vikings, and it's just it ain't turned back. My
I think
husband's
I
a
fell in. Go
bleeds
ahead.
purple. I'm sorry, my husband bleeds purple. His family bled purple. Born and raised in Minnesota, and passed on the generational love of the football and the Vikings to him. And it just kept going. So it works out for me too, Mr. Cornelius.
All right.
No,
All
that's
right.
good. That's
Shout out
good. Now
shout
I
out
think
to
Mm.
I
Mr. Carter, one of my top 10 wide receivers of
Hey,
all time.
hey.
I think that I fell in love with the Raiders because they used to get into a lot of fights. I'm gonna be honest. I thought that was like the coolest thing ever. So I'm still trying to figure out how can finesse and get my transcripts to update because look, she was traumatized by watching the Raiders, and that's what she thought she had to do in times of conflict. I got
Oh,
to
that's
figure
a
out how
good
to
one.
finesse a letter, to get
Yeah.
it sent to my school. So I got to work on that because that's probably why I got into so many fights in school. At least allegedly,
Allegedly.
that
Allegedly.
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 Yeah.
allegedly was fighting in school. I'm going to put the quotation mark so that way we can go with that. Now, this is a show for recap. So let us discuss. Now we have the records here. The Bills 11-6, which Nicole did say you guys would end up with 10 wins. The Bengals 9-8.
Yep.
Yep.
Vikings seven
Lord.
ten. Raiders 8-9. We already know how I feel about the coach. So that's a whole other thing with that. So
Yes.
so I mean, you know what I'm saying? That's like ridiculousness. So let's talk about because we know Cornelius, you said that you guys were gonna do the dang thing, and y'all was
Dang
gonna be
thing.
all up in the Super Bowl and whatnot, what have you here. We know that did not happen. So
No, it did
how
not happen.
Mm.
let's talk about what do you feel like the breakdown was in the season, like the number one reason why we're gonna go Cornelius, Brandie, and then Nicole.
I mean, we had Joe Burrow, which is one of the top rated quarterbacks in the NFL right now,
Hmm.
riddled with injuries this year. I mean, just oh my goodness, they battered my quarterback this year. I mean, our offensive line, although not stellar, it was not what it was the previous year. Uh, it's improved. It improved this year, but it still wasn't even minimally good. I would just say it was just okay. We had injuries at D line, the D tackle position, injuries at linebacker position. Then it's like in safety injuries. I mean, we had injuries galore. Um, and I wasn't surprised that Browning was holding it together as well as he was because I saw him play during the preseason. I'm like, he's going to be pretty decent backup. So I mean, he did what he could when he came in, but I also thought my thought process was they should have rested Burrow earlier in the season.
You
So
right
Hmm.
that
now,
we
before you go, before
Yep,
we talked about that, I told you that when he came in, I said he should not be in. But go ahead.
yeah
Hmm.
yeah he
I
I
remember.
think he should not
Hmm.
have been
Yep.
on the
Yep.
field at all. Let Browning get the reps, get to lead the team, and you know get developed. Um, I mean, we were just riddled with injuries all over the place at every position, and not just it was major guys were injured. So yeah. Then coaching,
All right.
I had a lot of questionable calls this year. I mean, to the point where I could not watch the game because it drove my blood pressure up. Um,
Ooh, same.
Mm,
Yeah, we're
mm,
gonna get
mm.
into the calls and stuff like that in a little
so
bit.
yeah, so yeah, that's I think injuries plagued us this year, along with a little bit of coaching mishaps.
All
What about
right.
you, Brandy?
Well, what you mean? What about me? We played Russian roulette with quarterbacks all damn season. Um, so
I'm so mad though with Dobbs. I want Dobbs for myself.
baby, oh, that broke me in half. I could not believe it. Um, it was, it was. I mean, where do you even start with that? Like, it was so horrible. We got exactly 2 games to see Kurt be wonderful with a line built around him, playing with him. We got
Mhm.
exactly 2 games of that before he, bam, goes out. And then we lose JJ. I mean, we have had it. It was a nightmare. And then we get Dobbs, and we give up a pick, and like that, now shooting us in the foot, and then Mullins like, oh my God, what the Mullins? You've been sitting behind Kurt. What is wrong with you, bro? Get it together. Like how come? Like you had a couple sparks of showing like you actually knew the game that you had been studying, and then I don't know what the heck happened. I don't know. It was a lot. It was a lot.
I
it,
mean,
it,
yeah.
it was a lot to go from seeing all that hope and all of that trust that we had, just like, we're going. And then, I mean, there were some sparks of greatness. Some players really stood their ground, like Darisaw on that line. Quit playing with him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we had some really great players do their thing. Madison, he could have done better, but I mean, he's doing Madison. He's growing still. But Chandler, he's a beast. He's coming out. Like, there was just, the QB position killed us this season, because like, if we wouldn't lost Kurt, man, the possibilities were endless. Seeing those 2 games, them beast mode, like, and clicking together, and our D was coming together. Like, oh my God, it was crazy. Yeah,
But
it was a
I
lot.
but I think even with Kurt, I think you guys would have struggled. That's why I said you guys, it was going to be the Lions and then you guys. I knew that was going to be the order.
Yes,
What
ma'am.
about you, Nicole? How do you feel about you guys' season? Because we always discuss me with your quarterback, saying that I didn't feel like he was going to win a Super Bowl in his career basically. But how do
Right.
you feel like you guys did this year?
Up just like everybody else, the defensive injuries really hurt us this year. I think they really turned the season around because at 6-6 we was pretty much written off to get as far as they got. I was very proud of them, but I'm like Cornelius. I had to like take a break because my anxiety was high, and I
Man.
found all kind of things to distract me every Sunday because I don't know. We just can't win easy. It's always down to the wire. Even when we lost to Kansas City, it was down to the wire.
Hmm.
But I think the our defense is older. I think we lost some huge key players in our defense, like Matt Milano at the linebacker position, Trey White, who wasn't really back to what he was before his first injury, but he still was a veteran presence and still was a bit of a factor. So I think those defensive injuries really hurt us. I felt like the offense did what they needed to do and kept us in. And ultimately, it came down to not making enough defensive stops and a couple of questionable coaching calls, just like Cornelius said. But I think our defense showed its age. We got a couple of safeties that are a little long in the tooth. So I like to see what kind of moves they make going forward. But I was happy with the outcome of the season, seeing that we wasn't gonna make it as far as everybody thought we would.
Yeah, I mean, I think you guys did okay, but I just feel like when I look at like Allen and when I look at like Prescott, I just don't see them being like that. The lead quarterback that's gonna be like, get on my back and we're gonna roll with this. But let's talk about my Raiders. We already know that old broke back head coach that we got rid of.
I can't with you.
That old broke
Broke
back
back.
coach that we got rid of, that we
Yeah.
sent back to Pop Warner so he can coach his little elementary school. That was the reason why we didn't have a great start. But I do see some promises. I love Jones. I love the KC game, to where he was looking going in for the touchdown. I feel like we have hit or misses. It is what it is. I didn't expect us to do pretty much anything because I knew the well, he wasn't even the head coach. I knew what we had there was not amount to anything. I could have did better with my eyes closed and counting grains of salt.
Mhm.
So I was not. I'm not
How do you
I
really
mean,
feel?
I'm just being real.
You just took her whole entire team and threw them in front
So
of
I
all the
was
Man,
double
happy to
decker
see.
man.
bus.
Throw them in the thing. It's glitter
Like,
I
everywhere.
look.
yeah,
They had some
I
they had some highlights though. They had
I
highlights.
They had a
love. I
couple.
love.
They
No,
had a couple.
I love my team. I love the players. But how dare if you know you're not a head coach, if you know you're not that caliber, don't be coming in there with your chest all puffed up like you're going to run some things when you know you can't even get 2 and 2 and get 4. You're getting 22 and 222, subtracting and adding and doing all this foolishness. You don't know what you're doing.
He's
So I
not
feel like
mapping right.
if you're not going to put any player in the best light, get on out of there. What are you doing? If I had to fly to Vegas and tell him to, if he would have still been there, I would be taking flights to Vegas and look, you bruh, you know, you should not be out here because you don't know what in the heck you're doing. So I
Mm.
was
would have got
happy.
outside
I
the
was happy
stadium
to
with some
see him
socks on the
go. That kind of
quarters.
made my season when they told him he ain't got to go home, but
You
you
just
got to
got to
get
get
the
up
heck
out
up
of
out.
here.
You got to get the heck up out of
Scram,
here.
kid. Scram.
Wasn't fast enough for you, was it?
Look,
No,
fast enough,
I've been
Quite
girl.
saying
frankly,
since minute one. I've been saying since minute one. I've been getting argued. Y'all
Mm-hmm.
see, I
Minute,
be
she said,
arguing, but
beat
I feel
feet,
like
dude.
Rocky coming out with my robe on. With my boxing gloves on when I post stuff because they want to argue. Oh, well, he's this is them. He's the best. He's gonna do. I'm like, okay. And then when I'm right, oh well, you always want to be right all the time. It's not that I always want to be right, but I'm not gonna play dumb like I didn't tell you that
Right.
I mean,
because you're a guy and you got your testosterone all pumping up. Sorry,
and here's the
but I
thing, like
told you this.
we had these same conversations preseason, and
Yep.
you and I really vibed on that point, as well as the point of watch out for the Lions, as well as the
Yep.
point of watch out for Cleveland.
Yep.
And it's like you guys don't know what you're talking about. Like what? Like, dude, do you not see how focused they are? Do you not see the defensive presence they have? Do you
Right.
not see the offensive play? Now Cleveland, they were lackluster at the quarterback position.
Yeah.
And it was fortunate for them that Flacco was available and Flacco brought a steadiness to the quarterback position. But
Man, he
he
was
was
beast mode
he
from
w-
get go.
he I mean
Man.
he dug his heels in and went to work.
Yes, he
And I
did.
tell you, like had they had that from game 1 of the season, now I don't know if he would have survived the full season. However, just the fact of he is who he is and he plays the way he plays, he can definitely take an offense and manage the offense and give you some
He's
points.
still effective. He's still a
He's
factor.
effective.
He's
He's
But see,
effective,
effective,
but
this
and the
is
see,
this.
numbers prove that he's
yeah,
still
but
effective.
Yep.
that was
The
that
the, the
defense.
problem
That
with
was that
Cleveland is the
defense, man.
defense
That's that
fell
defense in
flat.
Cleveland, baby. That
They
defense won them
fell
games. Quit playing.
they
That
fell
defense won
flat when
Cleveland, man.
they fell flat when they needed to pump their chest up in the
They got
playoffs.
beat up a
Yeah,
little
but
bit.
this
Yeah.
is
They
this is the
fell
Yeah.
thing when
flat.
you're talking about numbers, though. It takes a heck of a MF player to come in from sitting on the couch and be like, "Look, boys, guys, men, we're gonna do this."
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
rally
They
like
bought
that.
in. The
Yes,
That's what I'm
locker
saying.
room bought in with him.
absolutely.
Exactly
He had a
Yeah.
from
hell of a
from the
pep talk.
start, and it takes a heck of a player to be able to build that confidence from the start. They didn't do so well from the get go, but he came in like we're gonna roll out because
I
remember
mean,
they were expecting to have a whole different quarterback from the beginning of the season. So for them to buy in like that is like literally insane, and that goes like to Brandy's point. When she was talking about the quarterback, they were all brought into Cousins, and then this happened. So to me, when I look at Minnesota, the Vikings, I'm disappointed to where it's like sometimes you got to stick with the player. We get that you expect to play with Cousins, but you have Dobbs coming in, which I hopefully get him a field, but that's a whole other story. You have
Man.
someone like that coming in, reading the playbook from just day one. I don't even know what the heck I'm doing. I never played ball before. I'm just out here having fun and to go out and put up that performance. And then when he didn't do well, because now there's like film on him, it's like, okay, oh, we got to go to the next guy. You're not, when you have guys on the team, you're not even building any rapport. The players are not building rapport with those quarterbacks that are being replaced. It's like a Russian roulette of quarterbacks.
That's what I
You're
said.
not going to
Yep.
do,
This is
you're not going to do well.
definitely the year of the backup.
That's
It
what
was the
it was. The
year
yeah,
of
and
yeah.
the backup.
and we didn't have nothing to back it up. So I mean, that was the problem. You know what I mean?
Look, y'all could have took
Sad.
our quarterback. Y'all could have took Jimmy G and the other guy, the other number
Nobody wants
four.
your trash. Nobody wants your trash.
No, but I'm saying no.
Jimmy can
Listen,
go
she
home,
said,
baby.
listen, she could have taken them, and I would have loved to have had Dobbs. If y'all don't
She
want
would
Dobbs,
have.
I said from the beginning, give me Dobbs, put Dobbs in. Any player that can read a playbook and finesse like he finessed and was in there doing all that stuff in a couple of days.
Yeah,
3 days.
Dobbs. I'm
What
telling
is
you.
he?
Three
He's
days.
like an engineer or
Yeah, he's
something,
a,
right?
He's
he's
a
a,
Did he
he is a
astro. He's
astronaut.
a neuro.
aeronautical engineer
Yeah,
or
something
something?
like that.
He's
Yeah,
an
Yeah,
astronaut.
astronaut
Actually, he's
physicist or
an
something like that. Just
astrophysicist.
out there,
Right.
just
but I
out there
mean,
reading books and stuff.
Yeah, Go
I
ahead,
I had so much confidence in Dobbs
man.
when he got
You.
up when it was his turn. I put him on my fantasy league.
Oh damn,
I put
Cornelius.
him I
I'm
put
sorry.
him I put him in over who was the quarterback? Saints quarterback.
Oh, Car?
Yeah,
Carr?
Carr. I put him in over Carr,
No, I would
and
not. I
he
wouldn't put it.
I
I wouldn't
wouldn't
put
do
him over
that.
Carr because Carr's
listen.
basketball. I mean, his football
Li-
IQ.
yeah, his football. I was look. I'm looking at the stat line. Like after Dobbs' week, his first week out, I'm like, he got something here, and he going up against a team that potentially is gonna make him look good. He could tear apart. I mean, and he
Yeah,
put up some phenomenal numbers. And
but the
He
difference with
did.
Carr and then also Dobbs had receivers already in place. Carr had to cultivate these people. He didn't really have much he was working with. I love what's his name, Olave. Oh my gosh, send him to the Raiders, man. If I could finesse him a jersey like his name on the back of a Raiders jersey, I would do that because that guy is freaking nice. But Carr's football IQ, he could literally walk off the field today, be a head coach on team, and I guarantee you, with his football IQ, he could lead them to the playoffs. I
yeah,
really feel like he's
yeah,
probably one of the best as far as football IQ. He's one of the best that's basically stepped in the game. But
yeah,
let's
and
talk
I
about
I
the
get it.
draft.
Hmm?
But let's talk about the draft because now we need to look
Ooh.
at what do you feel like you need for the draft.
Oh my
So
goodness.
we're going to go Nicole because we already know what you didn't have. What do you feel like a position you feel like would help you maybe get into the playoffs next year, do better next year, or you feel like you need to bulk up to even compete next year? We're going to go Nicole, Brandie, and then Cornelius.
I think in a draft, if we can't get a free agent wide receiver, a good wide receiver, and we got the two safeties, Poyer and Hyde. I think Hyde may be retiring. Poyer has got one more year left on his contract, but they're older. So I think the safety position would be good. Defense, if our guys could get healthy, I don't know if we really need anything on defense. Offensive line actually did very well this year. Um, but I'm like looking at because it was so many backup quarterbacks. If they could get a good veteran or a good backup quarterback, because it just seems like that is going to be so crucial after this year. So there's a couple of pieces I think we definitely could use.
What about you, Brandie?
Well, I mean, that's a lot up in the air. It all depends on like if we keep Kurt, that in my mind, then we need pass rush, right? We need a pass rusher. We need somebody to be able to bust through and get to the quarterback. We need Harry. I'm not sure what's going to go on with Harry. I think Harry. We need to let go of Harry. I love Harrison Smith. Everything. He's an amazing, amazing dude. But we can't afford him, man. We need to clear the room, and we need to make some room and get some new talent out there. We need some corners. We need to just go aggressive in the draft and get some defense out there. Get some people to stack it up. If we're not going to sign Kurt, you know what I mean? I mean, if we're not going to sign Kurt, then we need to go ahead and take one of them quarterbacks and let's put him out there, throw him in. You know what I mean? Let's go. No, don't get a quarterback and have him sit behind Kurt for 2 years. For why? Why waste that 2 years of a contract? If you're gonna do it, pull the trigger. So
So do
that's my
you feel
thought.
like but we're gonna let you finish what you were saying. Quarterback, but you mentioned quarterbacks. Do you feel like you take like a rookie quarterback, or try to find like a different quarterback, or do you feel like you have a backup in your roster now for Kirk, just in case?
No, I think we need to work on the roster that we have now. He needs a. I mean, we can get a free agent or something like that. Take somebody that we can get, that can get up under the salary cap, but we need to go aggressive in the draft as far as that defense to get some young blood out there. You know what I mean? Or maybe even try to get another free agent pass rusher is what we really need to get. Man, if Derrick Henry come available, we can take him on up here, put him on that O line. That would be amazing. I mean, there's so many options and opportunities out there. It just really depends on, you know, what their motives are. If we're gonna keep Kurt or not. That makes
What do you
for
And
feel
me
like?
it's
that
that money.
that's what I'm saying. That for me
Salary
that makes
cap.
all the difference for me right there because he can go so many different
Yep.
ways with what we do with this draft, right? But we need to
But how
know.
do you feel like you should do?
I personally want to keep Kurt, honestly, and go aggressive and get some young blood out there. We need some corners. We need some pass rushing. We need to, see what we can do. We need to get some
The
some stat
defense.
talent, some D out there for real. That's what I think we need to do. But who am I? They don't. I mean, I just paid for my season ticket. It's fine. They don't ask me. I'm just kidding.
They don't ask none of
They
us.
don't ask
Shoot,
me.
look, they ain't gotta ask me, but I'm always voice my opinion. What about you, Cornelius? What do you
That's
feel like?
right.
For
I
sure,
mean,
word
hey,
up.
because without me, without fans and stuff like that, buying these
They
jerseys and
wouldn't
stuff like
be.
that, they better
That's right.
recognize.
They
They
wouldn't
better
Right.
be. You are
recognize.
absolutely
Right.
correct.
Hey, go ahead,
Yeah, but
Cornelius.
Oh my
I
goodness,
honestly
we
think we
we
need
have
to
so
go
many
ahead and keep
scenarios
Kurt.
with our personnel. We got Mixon, who's
Yeah.
taking up a lot of money. Then we got to get our wide receiver signed, and then we probably gonna have to let go of wide receivers. So we're gonna end up franchise tagging T Higgins, and then probably going letting trading Boyd, or I hope they don't let him go for nothing, but hopefully they trade him and not let him go for nothing. I would love to have Derrick Henry in the backfield over Mixon.
Man, cut it out.
Uh, but we also need to address the.
Everybody want King Henry.
Man, I love Derrick Henry, man. Quit
But I
playing.
mean, yeah, man, look, he's a monster. That's all I got to say.
Straight
He's a
beast.
freaking monster.
Man.
But still a freaking
Yes.
monster. But if we go to draft, I would love to see them to go O line. The Penn State Olu Fashanu, I love him. He's a great offensive tackle, and I think he has like day one talent in the NFL. Also, Kansas State Beebe. Um, then we need to address the tight end situation, like Brock Brower out of Georgia, or either Jatavion Sanders out of Texas. As far as defensive line talent, I really love my goodness, JT out of O State. I don't want to pronounce his name wrong. Tamalua, and then also Michael Hall Jr. also out of Ohio State. That is
I
the
know
Ohio
it.
State University.
The
Keep
Ohio
them
State.
local.
The Ohio
Right?
State.
Yeah. So I really think between those positions, those guys, if we can get any of those guys, well, the O linemen, if we can get either of those guys in the first round, we need to take them off the board. Um, but I think they're going to go maybe top 25, um, if not top 15, because there's so many other teams that pick before the Bengals that are hurting for offensive linemen.
That's true.
That's true.
I think numero uno is a QB.
Right.
Yeah,
We need a quarterback, and this is something else I try to tell those people that tried to say, well, Jimmy G was a bridge quarterback, and then when that fell apart, after I argued with them for a couple of days on that, and they told me AOC was good, he's going to be good, this and that, and I argued with them on that. We already know that did not take place. So we need a good quarterback that has a pocket presence, because we all know that that little stand in the pocket football game is long gone. The
Yep.
Steelers, I mean, they're
Mm-hmm.
still operating that because they have Tomlin, and there's different teams that are still operating that offense, but that's long gone. We need to have a threat in the pocket. Have some type of pocket awareness to where if you see the play breaking down, you get rid of the ball. And we just haven't been able to do that. I mean, heck, against the Vikings, we couldn't even put up a touchdown. We couldn't even
Yeah.
match the three freaking points the
yeah,
entire game. It's
Yeah.
like we out there popping popcorn and barbecuing and whatnot.
yeah.
That's a
Pizza
lie,
parties on the
Pris.
field. I
But
mean,
I
that was
mean,
so disgusting.
also also
That's a
those
lie,
teams that
Pris. That's a
still
lie.
that still play that old style of football, they have personnel to do it. They have the personnel and the talent. They have the
Yeah.
personnel
No, I
and the
don't.
You gotta
No,
talent.
have
no.
that
I
line.
said some. I said
But you
some.
I
I said
disagree with
some.
that, because if that were the case, then the Steelers and some of these other teams would have did way better than what they've done. The only reason why that old school football is still there is because the head coach has not stepped into the new era football.
that's
We
true.
saw it last year. We saw more of the stand in the pocket because Brady was still in the league. We had Rodgers was still playing. now that Brady's gone, Aaron did not play the season. Now we see it more, this new era football, because pretty much all the teams are doing it. Until like some of these coaches step aside or up their game, you're going to see random teams practicing that school. But that's gone. That era of football is pretty much done. That's why you have these hybrid players, and you have Lamar Jacksons, and these, even Allen, to where you have that a running back / QB that's going to be like, hey, you don't want to guard me, I'm gonna take it in myself. That little stand in the
They know
pocket.
how to extend those plays.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
you
Yeah.
you
need
also
that.
you
Hmm
also
I
have
mean, let's
Patrick
talk about
Mahomes
it.
who's slower than a turtle with ankle weights on as far as the quarterback
With
position
ankle
goes.
No, we're not even as
Um,
far as Mahomes. That, look, how
but
many
he
times, and
he
this
had
is a whole.
no.
We're
Let
gonna
me
talk
finish my
about.
thought. Let me finish my thought. He's not the most mobile quarterback, but he can still pick apart your defense, and he has his moments where all right, you're gonna give me a little green, I'm gonna take whatever you're gonna give me. He's still gonna take whatever you give him, whether it's with his legs or with his arm. He's
No,
just
to
a great
me, I
decision
I
think
don't
maker.
think I ever
I
saw him run as much as he did in that Super Bowl, though.
Yeah,
I
Like
not
I
feel
that.
like,
never saw.
That
That
baby ran
but
for his life.
when
I
it
mean
comes to
Yes.
Mahomes,
the
I
defense
don't. To me,
practically dared him to run.
yeah, but when I look at Mahomes, when you're talking about yards, I would never, ever, ever, and I mean absolutely ever, put him in the conversation of an Allen, of these quarterbacks, of Lamar Jackson that's getting these
Not
runs
at
in.
all.
How I think
Not at
that is
all.
completely disrespectful. And the reason why is because I can pull up, if I watch these games, I can pull up the number of times that people should have been able to tackle Mahomes and they did not tackle Mahomes, because it's like these Mahomes rules in the NFL. Wide open. Now, hey, I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna keep it freaking real. Wide
He's
open tackles.
Oh,
It's like, oh, I run it to Mahomes and I have a clear shot on him. We all know it. Clear shot on him. What I'm gonna do? I'm gonna fall down like I'm in a horror flick, and I'm the person that looks back. Or there's, I got on heels in the horror flick, and I'm the only one. I'm
oh,
falling, tripping over some leaves on the grass.
not behind a chainsaw.
Stop it. I'm saying
it's
I don't
dirt.
put him in a. I don't.
It's a turf monster.
I'm tripping over. I'm tripping over a little piece of gravel. No,
Yeah, that's
no,
that's not his that's not his forte,
no. But
but
no,
he
but
does have the gift of extending plays.
he
But
has the
Yeah,
gift of
you are
extending
right. You can't put him in that same
for running.
dual threat
yeah. I
as for
mean,
Thank you.
running. You
no,
Thank
I
you.
can't.
mean,
Thank
and
you. I can put him in
also,
for
I mean,
passing, but that's a whole different thing. What is your thought
I
on this,
mean,
Brandie? Because you haven't
Hmm
had it.
it's just
Wait,
like being
Cornelius. We have to give Brandie a chance to
okay. I'm gonna
respond
be quiet.
because
When you leave, I'll be talking again.
she has not had a chance to say anything. Go ahead,
Look,
Brandie.
you're not wrong, Priest, because you cannot put Mahomes in the same category as Allen or Lamar. Because let me tell you right now, my heart broke for Lamar this year. Like what? Y'all was beasting. Lamar had, oh my God, the rushing yards. Are you insane? More rushing yards than his running backs almost every game. Like, what are we talking about? It is a different game, and you're absolutely correct. When you have like the old G coaches, like in the same thing, like okay, let's try to stand in the pocket, let's try to just pass the ball. No, you can't do that. You have to be able to have that mental capacity to look down the field, see the play, and extend the play. Mahomes is great at that, but you are correct. He does have a little bit more special touch rules, but
Yeah,
that's besides the
yeah, I
point.
agree.
hmm
That's besides the
Look,
But
point.
it's a
I'm just
reflection
saying,
of the
I mean,
but
defense too,
but
because
also
nah, I
defensive
disagree
linemen
with that.
are
but
faster, they're
yes,
bigger,
they are not playing
and
with
they're
you.
fast,
They're
so they
coming.
gotta move.
They're coming.
Nah,
Hmm
So these
I
boys
think
have
that
got
there's
to get
Mahomes
after
rules in
that
the
field and
NFL.
feet coming and be able to move around.
Oh,
You know what I'm
absolutely.
oh yeah.
saying?
You don't have to
I mean,
tell me.
yeah. They definitely have
They got to be able to feel
hey,
that they can feel that thunder.
protect the
You
face
know,
of the NFL player type of mentality.
Well,
Protect the
to me,
face of
I
the
think
NFL.
that is
Yes.
I mean, but it's
disrespectful.
the
And
same.
I'm gonna call the NFL out on that. You hear me right now? Pull it
I
up.
mean,
This
it
is a
was
podcast
disrespectful.
that podcast at what minute? 34.26 seconds. I'm calling the NFL out because you guys got to stop that. I think it's disrespectful. It's disrespectful to all the players that put in work. It's disrespectful to the defense that you have Parsons and Crosby getting held on every play because you don't want them to tackle Mahomes. If he don't want to get tackled, why is he out there? If he's not allowed to be tackled, then send him out there with regular jeans on and a t-shirt because obviously he can't be hit. Stop it.
Well,
Stop it.
I didn't
Send him out there
realize.
with
I didn't
send him out there
realize.
with
I
some
saw
flip
the stat
send him out there with some flip
to see
flops.
the stat that Kansas
Send him
City
out there with some
has been
flip
called
flops.
for any holding penalties in 3 Super Bowls.
Man, I
Yeah.
No
mean,
holds.
Look,
look,
send him out there with
Imagine
some
that,
flip
right?
look.
flops, some flip
I was
flops and
fuming.
some beach board shorts.
I was fuming
So
like
that's
the
how I
whole. I'm
see
like,
it about
hold,
that.
hold, hold, no flag, no flag. All right, let's go.
No, they don't get called for anything.
And then you got
Anything.
and then you got your kid out here taking off his helmet to talk to the ref, no flag.
No
Now
flag.
let's
Now that's
let's
the
Yep.
keep on this
problem.
let's keep on
That's
the
the
same
problem.
thing because I do also have a question. Kelsey, he out here roughhousing his coach and stuff like that. Have you heard a story? I haven't heard any follow up with that. Now Gruden, now let's put this in perspective. Gruden received emails from someone else. He was not emailing himself. He was not emailing himself. Let's be clear. He did not send himself images of cheerleaders from another team. How could he get those? Right? Now I'm speaking from a Raiders perspective. Now you guys have your own instances. Adams walking off the field, minding his own dang business, looking down. You got someone else who's supposed to be looking out for players because he's not supposed to be on the field, running across with equipment. Adams puts his hands out to protect himself for a month at least. I heard calls for Adams' job that he should not be in the NFL. He should not
Fine.
be
Fine,
allowed.
Fired.
He
fired,
should
Yep.
all
not. He
kinds of
should be
crap.
fined or whatever. Now we got a KC player, Travis freaking Kelsey, roughhousing this coach.
Travis Swift.
We got that. We got Mahomes being held back. The Wonder Child being held back. And how is that for an example
Oh,
for
when
kids?
in the
Being
Buffalo
held back
game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because he want to fight the ref. You got your people holding him back. Nothing happened.
Not
Now
to
what do you
mention in their playoff game against Miami and his helmet cracked. If
right?
you have an equipment failure, you're supposed to have a
Off the
timeout.
field. Yeah.
And he's
You-
supposed to be off the field.
And
They didn't stop
they
the
didn't
clock
stop
or
the clock or
nothing.
nothing.
So
Yep.
Yeah,
so
they
how do
didn't
you
pull him
feel?
from the
How do
game.
you feel about that? Do you feel like there should be strict guidelines to where and this let's talk about Lamb because Travis Kelsey points also first down. Lamb points first down. He gets fined $22,000 every time he does that, and he gets called $22,000. Travis Kelsey, not even 22 cents. How do you feel? How do you
Yep.
feel about that? Do you feel like there needs to be strict
Yep.
rules to where
Oh,
if anyone
there's a
does
question. Whoa,
this,
whoa, I have a question. Is that fine coming from his organization or from the NFL? There's a difference.
that
Because
fine?
if
This is an NFL fine that
That's an
he gets caught.
NFL fine
He
because
gets
Josh
caught.
Allen got fined for pointing and they
Right.
considered
This
it
is a
taunting.
taunting. This is taunting for
got
considered
you.
taunting from the
Yep.
NFL.
Yep.
Well, how is that any
Now,
different? Because I mean, my guys point first down in our stadium. Like it's
so
Every player does
all of
it.
them. Like if you caught a hell of a fucking pass down, sorry my language. You caught a pass down the field for a bunch of yards. Like you got a 50-yard pass up the field.
That's first down. I mean,
Yeah,
my
first
my
down, baby.
my,
Like what we
my
talking
thing
about?
is this.
I
Like,
don't have a problem pointing
I don't
first
have a
down
problem.
because I'm
Yeah, I don't
a
have a
point
problem.
first down. So I'm gonna look in your face. Hey,
That
what
don't
you
make no
thought you
sense
had
to
me? What
me.
you did?
Correct.
Taunting is
You
when
did
you up in
not.
their face and you trying to invoke a fight to me.
Right.
That's what
My
I'm
Running down
thing
saying.
the
is, if
field
they're
is
not
not
going to the
taunting.
sideline, yeah. My thing is,
That
if
don't make
they're
no sense
going
to
over
me.
to the opposing team sideline and pointing first down, I don't think it should be taunting.
No, but if
No,
I don't
but
think.
I
I
don't know.
don't
The
think.
taunting rules are very skewed. They're
Well, I think
very, very
if the play
gray.
happens in front of their bench, too bad. First down. Like it is what it is. Like you know what I mean?
I'm gonna look.
Sorry.
Look if it's
I'm
If it's me, I'm gonna look at the opposing bench because that's what I do. I'm not gonna be up in your face, but I'm gonna look at you because you're looking at me. You looking at me, I'm looking at you. That's how that
Right,
I
goes.
mean,
right,
That's how that
if
goes.
you getting the
So I
first
don't,
down, the
I don't.
attention is already on you. So
That's
right,
what I'm
looking at
saying.
right.
So
me
I'm gonna
and
look
you
too.
feel offended that I got the first down, then you should have stopped looking at me after I got the
Like
first down.
you should have been paying attention to
Okay,
what you
Or
this
was
you
let's
should have
doing
talk about
stopped me
let's talk
from
instead
getting
of
about.
it.
getting it. Right, you feel me?
Stop me. Either
You should
stop
have
me
been paying
from
attention to
getting
what
it
you was doing
or
in the
stop
first
looking
place.
at me after I get it.
No, look, no. You either stop me from getting it. I want you to look at me because I want you to understand you would never stop me. So I want you to look. That's just me because I'm just cocky like that. But I'm just saying, hey,
Hey, whether
you know,
you look or not, when you're looking or
you
not,
can look.
it does not
I want you to
results
look at
don't
me.
change. First down.
Look,
And
Yep.
that's what
but
I'm
I just
saying.
think that's
But let's
ridiculous to
talk
me
about.
to find the money for point first down. That's just part of the game. Come on, it's football. It's a competitive sport. Knock it off.
But this is considered taunting.
I think it's
Now,
ridiculous.
if
It's
you're
not taunting.
instigating, like this is what supposedly, because the commentators always got to have their little thing.
All right.
Taunting is when you point the first down. And then supposedly taunting is also if you do make the first down and you look at a play, like that the defense is right on you because they're trying to stop you, so they're literally in your face. So
Right.
supposedly, if you look at them, that's taunting. So I'm supposed to be like disengage myself from their body, my body, not look at them. That's just stupid. That's just
That
a
just
stupid
sounds
rule.
dumb. That just
But
sounds dumb.
I found that certain teams are penalized and certain teams are not. I know we don't really get it
Correct.
because we don't really do stuff like that. I feel like we're going to get penalized more because our head coach, got his chest all puffed up on the off season, but we're going to get into that a little bit. I do feel like that she said, the Bills. I know the Cowboys have gotten penalized. The Chiefs have not. The Chiefs have been able to physically put their hands on their head coach, no problem. It's okay. Nobody miraculously,
Threaten to fight a ref.
even though
Right.
Travis Kelsey was mic'd up, it took for Reed to actually say what Travis Kelsey said. Okay, right. Even though what's his name, Patrick Mahomes was like, I'm here to the ref, nothing happened. But we're not supposed.
And I
Our
feel like
players,
the refs is off limits. Like you've had players run into the refs by mistake and they get a flag on them.
yeah,
Like you're not even supposed to touch them.
injected.
Hmm.
Yep.
So I feel like
Yep.
Yeah.
that needs to be addressed. Maybe we'll do a different show. We'll do like a whole show on that because that's like a deep conversation. And let's
Yeah.
see, because it is still new. We know that certain things were involved with making money for the NFL and things like that. So let's see if anything happens, which I doubt because I haven't heard anything with that. That's like a whole other issue. So how are you guys
Yeah.
feeling with your head coach? How are you guys feeling with your head coach right now?
Well,
I
We'll
am
go. Okay, wait a
mixed.
minute. We'll go Brandie because Brandie haven't had a really chance to really get in. Brandie, Nicole, and then Cornelius.
I like Kevin O'Connell. However, he made some very questionable calls this season. Man, I like his vision. I like what the breathe, the life, the breath of fresh air that he brought into the team. But now I needed to be, you know what I mean, more focused and like, I don't know. I like my coach. I just need him to be a little bit more grounded and like, man, pull the trigger when you got to pull the trigger, man. We can't play scared. You know what I'm saying? You got to tell these boys to
Exactly.
go for it. You got to like, we can't play scared, man. We got to go out there and get it. Like, what we doing? Like, you got nothing but studs on that line. What are we talking about? Like,
You're
we got
playing
a
shook.
squad. I got top receivers in the league. Like, what are we talking about? We got a squad. Like, let them go. Like, I don't know. We gotta pull the trigger and stop being scared and playing safe sometimes. And then know when to pull the trigger too a little bit. 'Cause I feel like that whole Detroit thing, Lord today, boy, he ooh ooh boy, I just Lord today that's like me having a flashback of us in the playoffs going to go to the Super Bowl when they scrapped our playbook and gave them a whole new playbook. Why would you do that? Let them play what they've been doing the whole year. What's been working. You give them a couple new plays, but don't scrap the whole. What? It looked like a whole team that we ain't never seen before. So I just hope and pray that my coach don't do that type of craziness and just put the foot on the gas a little bit. You know what I mean? We got this.
Yeah,
He's
or
a
at
good
least he could
coach.
have. He
What's
could at
that?
least taken the old plays and just changed one or two things, so it's a
Just a
little bit
couple
different than not
things.
having to learn a whole new play.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, you know, I think Kevin O'Connell's good. I think we're good. I just think he just has to, grasp the vision and like put the foot on the gas. You know what I'm saying? Don't be
What
scared.
about you,
Let's go out there and get it.
What about you, Nicole?
I like our coach. I just felt like he was doing too much this season because he didn't have a defensive coordinator. Although he's a defensive minded coach, I felt I could see some decisions that he made where if he could focus on one thing, the outcome would probably be different. Um, the best thing he could have done is move off from the offensive coordinator. And I know the coaching decisions to fire people don't come easy, but it changed the whole trajectory of our season and changed the morale of the team. I think they could have been in a better position had he moved off from them earlier. Morale wise, I think the team really like buys into him. He's definitely a motivator. I'm hoping this year we'll see that he doesn't have all of that on his plate and he could just focus on one thing. They've made a couple changes already in the off season, so I like him. I wouldn't say I dislike him. I'm not like his number one fan, but I think dealing with the defense that we had this year, where we was like third and fourth string, and he's a defensive minded coach. I think he got them to play up where they needed to play. But I definitely see where he needs to focus on one thing at a time.
He's he's stretched thin. What about you,
He
Cornelius?
he was overwhelmed.
Yeah. What about you, Cornelius? Why are you breathing? You breathing hard.
Listen,
Give it up. Give it up.
listen. I question. I was cool. First of all, like when they made the choice for head coach, I'm like, I don't know. We gonna see what happens. So, all right, get through season one fairly decently okay. Left some hope. Then we go on next year, go to the Super Bowl. All right, cool. This year, I just his decision not to sit Joe Burrow at the beginning of the season that bothered me. Um, and then he had some really questionable fourth down calls that he made that where he should have kicked the field goal.
Hmm.
Take the points, go up 10-zip, and we come back down next series. So I'm back on. I was kind of going towards like, okay, I think I like him, to back on the fence with him.
Do you think
What?
Burrow wanted to be out there as
Would
opposed to?
it whether I mean you're a coach, make the
Right,
Yeah.
decision. Sitting down, he's your franchise quarterback.
right,
Yeah. It
right.
doesn't
Like
matter if he wants.
it
Yeah,
Yeah.
doesn't matter. You could want to play on crutches, but like because you want to play on crutches, don't mean I
don't mean
have
they
to
gonna
say
let you.
yes.
You
Right.
know, guys, I said from the very beginning when they put him out
Like
there, I
the
said he should
coach's
not.
job
He
is
should.
yeah, the coach's job is to protect the players from themselves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Above everything else, like you cannot have your franchise quarterback trying to play with an injury.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
With an
Because I
And
said
injury.
from the
everybody
big.
was saying that in the
Absolutely.
beginning of the
Well,
season.
I
Everybody was
said.
Yep.
saying that he
I said
wasn't
that.
100%. You said it real
Yeah,
early.
many times I said
I've
that he was
said it.
not 100%, that he shouldn't have been out there. So, and this is the
Right,
thing. It's not even about protecting the players from themselves. It's protecting the players so that way they have longevity in the league.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Because whether he wants to play or not, it's like, listen, I understand you want to be out there, but if you set, because it's a long, we have 17 games, so it's like,
Yeah.
okay,
Right.
rather do you come in at first, he could have set those first 4 games and then came in, see how reevaluate him each week, and then came in later
Hmm.
because you still got 13 games left. So I
Right.
feel like the decision, and I feel like that some coaches like, okay, once we get these wins in, then we can rest him before playoffs. That's just stupid.
No.
Let
No.
him,
right.
he's already injured. Let him get better, and then you bring him in.
And let
Even
them
if you
come
would have
in,
had
right?
him play, had him play two quarters, and then see how he was to get the wins. There's ways around this, but I don't think they think.
Hmm.
Now
Yeah.
let's get to my quarterback and my head coach. Look.
Your new head coach.
Yeah, my well, you already know I didn't like the well, I'm sorry, Lord. Uh I can't say I did not like McDaniels because I don't know McDaniels, but I will say that he was not qualified for the position. He had high esteem for himself that he could not fulfill those shoes. However you want to say it, get out of here. Like I said from the beginning. As far as AP, I've been a longtime Raiders fan, so I understand the love of AP and why people feel like he's a good fit because from the old school Raider ways and this and that. I get it. I get it. Did he deserve the head coaching position? I'm kind of curious to see how he would do if the guys love playing for him, if they can rally behind him, and he deserved one full season is the most I would have given him. Do I feel like he's a true head coach? Absolutely freaking not. I don't. I don't because I watched his face from the sideline when he looked shook on the sideline and this is my thing. You can't be knuck if you buck when you having the press conference and then be on the sidelines looking scared like a sprained chicken. This
Right.
is not how we do. Fix your freaking face, man.
Fix your
You
face.
can't be doing all that stuff. Now, I do give him credit to where he's going to hit the books and he's going to do whatever. So excuse me, interested to see how he would do, coming up. But as a business owner, stop with the talking. You talk too much.
Right.
We don't need all that. If you're asked, yes, say it. But I don't need to be talking for no good reason because I don't care what state I live in. I live in the show me state.
Right.
I'm gonna show these people what we're going to do. Then if you ask me, yes, I'm gonna talk. But all that talk and yang, 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 stop it. I hate that. And one other thing I don't like, I don't feel like a head coach should be above the players. There's only one person I feel like when I look at like the Raiders, and I think it's disrespectful to have him on the Raiders shield with the logo. Are you serious? So you're telling me you feel like he's above the players that are getting out there that's doing this hustling and stuff like that. He's above Al Davis. He's above Mark Davis. He's above Miss Davis.
Mm-mm.
Stop it. Stop it right now.
Right.
I literally hate that. And I hate the fact that we spend, well, not me, because I don't do all that BS. I don't. I feel like that it needs to stop pinning him above to where we're discussing the head coach more than we're discussing the players. Their accomplishments for the past season, what they're hoping to do, what their goals are, hyping up Jacobs and hyping up Renfro because, we have to get rid of them. What are they doing? Are they better? That's what I don't like about the situation that we're in.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate to say it, but I feel like a lot of people are going to be disappointed because I feel like they're going to feel like we're going to walk in with the undefeated season, and we're not. Stop setting yourself up for the okie doke.
Right. Right.
Because I'm going to be sitting back and say, I tried to tell you guys at the beginning of the season, I tried to tell you guys in the last season, show us first before you get all this. You get the NFL wanting to flag us for everything. We beat KFC. Okay, great. We had a high-scoring game. Okay, great. But what else did we do? We did not score against the Vikings.
Right.
So we haven't built consistency first. So I like him as
You have yet to arrive.
Right.
Right. So we haven't yet to do anything. We've done nothing, but we got all this talk, chest all puffed up. But for what?
Right. And
I like it for our guys because I feel like they're buying in. I love it for our guys. If they want to play for him as a head coach, hey, if they like it, I love it. That whole saying. But me personally, looking from the outside, looking in, it's a step up from what we had. But until you show me some consistency, I'm not even on the fence yet. I'll be on the fence when we show some consistency with those first 5 games. And all this talk you're doing, you put it on the field and you produce. Hey, I'll get on the fence then. But right now, I'm sorry, I'm not. I'm not.
Right.
Right. And that's how I feel about my Bengals. I'm like, all right, we got the playoff loss monster off our back. Let's all right now show some consistency and get into the playoffs and being competitive. Like anything less than a Super Bowl win, I'm like, I'm not impressed. Let's get a Super Bowl. Let's get a Super Bowl. Like
Well,
I
honey,
don't
I need
I
to
don't
get
want
one first. How about that?
no. How about you
Out
Me
of
wait?
too.
out of
Me too.
No,
Sure.
no, you wait in the
Me
corner.
too.
I gotta wait in the corner. Wait in the
Nah,
corner.
Mm-mm.
I
We
honey,
we
literally
nobody
this
we
is
put
what
Buddy
always
in a
in the
Corner.
corner.
talks.
Hold on, wait a
I
minute.
feel like that. I
Nobody
feel
put
like out
Buddy
of
in a
all of
corner. I don't
us,
know who you talking about.
I feel like out of all of us, the Raiders have a better chance of getting the Super Bowl and the Vikings.
Cut it out.
I don't. I think if you guys stick with Allen, you it's not going to
Yeah,
happen.
you
I
tripping,
don't know. There's
Kev.
something about when
I don't think
Allen
it's
gets.
just all him. And I think I am excited to see having the new offensive coordinator with his own playbook for an entire season because he was working off of the previous coordinator's playbook. Establishing the run game was a huge thing for us this year.
Okay,
Hmm.
And
so
I
let me ask.
think that's
Yep.
the pressure has to come off of him and when you have that run game, but then everybody has to realize that things may change, that the offensive production may change for other people when you heighten the other parts of the offense.
Right.
And that
It's true.
seems to
It's
be
true.
hard for people.
Well, it's true, but I said 2 years ago the Diggs. I didn't think Diggs would be back. There's Steve saying hello. Steve is trying. He think he gets the time zone mixed up because we're. I got to remind him. But I think that the issue when you have with Allen is, I said with Diggs, I didn't think he would be back. The reason why I say Allen is because I feel like that he alienates. He's a great quarterback, but you look at I look at him like you compare him to like Lamar. Lamar when Lamar does touchdown and stuff, he doesn't alienate the other producers. I feel like with Allen, he kind of alienates like the digs and stuff like that. I could be wrong, but that's how when I look at Allen because like he's getting getting touchdowns and stuff like that, and Diggs will be open. Diggs didn't get the ball, and that's why I said like with Allen, I feel like that there may be some issues there. Do you feel like you're going to win a Super Bowl with Burrows, Cornelius?
I do if he can stay healthy. If he can stay
And
healthy,
I think that's the
we
one
can
thing for
we
us. Allen has stayed healthy. That's a blessing.
yeah. Yeah. I
That's
But
mean, if
true.
we if
but
we if
Cornelius,
Burrow can stay healthy and we patch up the two holes that we have in our offensive line, I really do think we can get there and he can be that engine for the offense that he once was. Like
Yeah, that's
for
the key
him
for
for
them.
for him to
Yeah.
do what he did with probably arguably the worst O line in the NFL that
Mm-hmm.
year. Like I think it's amazing now getting somebody that can protect him, and I see what he can do
Yep.
then.
Yeah, that's true.
what about
Mm-hmm.
you? What about you, Brandy? Do you feel like it's going to be Kurt, or do you feel like there's going to be a new quarterback that's going to take you to the Super Bowl?
I think it's gonna be Kurt. Honestly, Priest. I think Kurt. He's phenomenal, man. His stats speak for themselves. He's got to get past his own mediocrity, and I think what we've seen that 2 games right before he went down with injury. We've seen him click with his line protect him. He had time in the pocket. He was aware on the field, made some amazing passes, and got down the field, and we won. Like it, it's crazy. And then boom, he was injured.
How old is Kirk Cousins?
30, Kurt's
He up
what,
Do you
there.
know how
I think
old
he's.
he
I
is?
think he's
32?
32, I believe.
32.
Okay. All right.
So let me ask you something.
Oh
So let's
no.
talk.
Oh wait. What? 36? Really?
He's
In November?
35. 35.
Yeah,
So let's talk
Really? So
about.
yeah.
he's
Let's talk
getting to
about.
that quarterback old age.
Let's talk
Yeah, he's
about
in
He's
the
the
at
top
that
end of
divisions.
the
age.
range there.
Let's talk about the divisions, though. If you had to look at,
Okay.
if you had to think about one team in the division, in your division, that you feel like that you need to get by or do better than, what would that one team be? We're gonna go Cornelius, Nicole, and then Brandie.
Right now, the Ravens are the top dog in our division, and that needs to change. Right
Ooh,
now, right now.
What
man.
about you?
Like
What about you,
we
Nicole?
Well, we have won our division 4 years in a row. So the threat is always Miami.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know about the Jets. The Jets is always in the talks, but you got a 41-year-old Rodgers coming off that injury. I don't know. I think I would have to go with Miami at this point. That's about the only one that seems to. But we've owned them. Like we've owned them. Like they gave us our division this year. They had it, and they gave it to us.
What about you?
Thank you.
What about you? What about you, Brandy?
Baby, if them Lions stay intact, we is in trouble. We got some
Yeah, I
work to
told you them
do.
lions. Them
Baby,
lions. I'm gonna
listen,
tell you them lions
I'm
gonna
not a
be.
hater. I am not a hater by no means. Listen, they stay
I
intact.
love that story though. I
They
love
I
that
love it
that
story.
too, but
Cinderella story. Yes, they've
that's
been
what I was
nothing.
telling people.
Listen, it has
That's what I was
been
telling people.
brutal.
That's
Go
what I was
ahead.
telling people for the last couple years that the
Oh
lions.
my
Now, Tony,
God.
this is
Yeah,
Tony.
That
yeah.
this is
I'm gonna read
I
Tony's
said this
comment,
too.
but I'm gonna read Tony's comment in a minute. For us, I'm gonna say the refs. I'm gonna say the refs in KC because
The refs in
I don't really
KC.
see it as KC. I really see it as the refs because we're gonna
man.
stop this because I could literally jump into television and tackle Mahomes quicker than the refs are gonna do anything or some of these guys because we have the Mahomes rule. So I'm going to say the refs. I'm going to say in our division, the team that we have to beat are the refs.
Said the Mahomes
Okay.
Halo rule.
Yeah. Okay. Tony says the AFC East will be fascinating next year. What Mayo chooses to do at quarterback will be quite interesting.
Yes, for New England, yes, because I don't know if they're going to keep. Who do they have? Daniel
Jones.
Jones or Mac Jones?
Yeah.
I know it's two Joneses.
Well, I feel like that Billy B was the issue in New England. He should have just got on out of there because, and that's how I feel about with the Jets. You have two good quarterbacks, but you have this mentality with these head coaches that they don't understand how to coach these guys. If I have a quarterback like Allen that likes to run or like that Lamar that likes to run, I cannot design everything for them to stay in the pocket. That's just stupid. What are you
Right.
doing?
Mm-hmm.
It's a disconnect
Yep.
there. So I feel like that's what ruined them. And if anytime you have an elite quarterback coming to your team is crying on the sidelines, you ought to be disgusted with yourself, Billy B, right now. And that's
Yep.
why you didn't get hired. Hello?
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
they said he kind of lost his edge in player development. He was a defensive minded guy too. And
Yeah.
then they said he didn't have a good connection with some of these younger players. Like
Well,
they wasn't buying into the Belichick way. And these players, like they know that they're a hot commodity and that they have rights. And what they do on that field pays your salary. So yes, they're not going to take a lot of the stuff that he
Right.
could have got away with years ago.
Right.
They're a little bit more assertive. They advocate for themselves, and he just I don't know. He just don't seem like he have that gift to develop players anymore. Now
he,
he would be a wonderful consultant to somebody's team
no, he
because
would
I think
be
he's
Yeah,
still
but where where
a
would he
he would
consult?
brilliant
be
Where
mind.
would he
he would be
consult that? As in
well,
what
he would be a
capacity of
wonderful
consulting?
consultant to himself because if you cannot
Because
listen, if you cannot have a conversation with someone, and this is him, the wrong way to do it is to have a conversation with someone waiting. Like I'm gonna ask you guys a question, right? I'm asking you guys a question. I'm waiting for you to respond. I'm not even paying attention to what you're saying. So my next response has nothing to do with what you're saying. That's him. A conversation
Hmm.
is, oh, what do you think about Mahomes? You guys give me your answer, and I'm listening, trying to understand what you're saying. If I don't understand what you're saying, I'm going to ask you, do you want to clarify, or are you saying this? Or I'm going to ask you
Hmm.
another question because now we're forming a dialogue. To him, he feels like it's a dictatorship, and that's why when he was
Right.
with trying to get hired with the Commanders or whoever, I'm going to say allegedly, you know,
Everybody.
well, there's listen, there's one team allegedly that he feel like that he should have somewhat GM status as to who they bring in as a head coach and have some type of stock in the team because he feels like that he's elite.
Right.
Boy, bye. That's why you're sitting on
Right.
the
but
sidelines.
that's the thing. That's the
People,
thing. He had the GM status, brought players
Yep.
in dirt cheap, but he put them and he lucked up when he got Brady. Now
Yeah.
Yep.
Drew Bledsoe wasn't no slouch by
Nope.
a long
By
shot.
no means.
It
By
was
no
just
means.
Nope.
it was just unfortunate that he got injured.
Hmm.
And he was having a hella season. Like he was having hella good seasons with the
Yeah.
team. Like he was on his way to getting Patriots that ring, but it was just unfortunate that it got cut short the way it did, and they just so happened to have Brady on the bench,
Right.
and it just so happens that Brady was willing to march to the orders that Bill put in front of him, and was able to had a high enough football IQ to make it work.
Well, this is the thing
Yep.
with New England with Billy B. It's like just when what's his name Elliott, when he was with the hair and whatnot, he had to come in with the clean cut. So at the time, the NFL,
Really?
listen, the NFL, y'all, I be
That's a
trying to,
fact.
I be, I can't really say a lot, but this is a whole nother conversation we're gonna have another time. But with Brady, it was like the NFL needed that clean cut All American. Brady was the All American guy next door at New England. Clean cut this and that. When he went to Tampa, I was loving it because I feel like that's more of Brady's personality. But when you look at the players at New England, it's like you have to act a certain way. Now, I really hope that changes because if I'm a player, I want to be able to be myself on the field and off the
Yep.
field. I want to conform to, what's best for the team, but I have to have my personality and my skill set show.
Mhm.
And I don't feel like that's what happened in New England under Billy B. I think that will change. I hope it changes. But look at Elliott when he went there. It's like, okay, I was like, who the heck is he? Out here with your hair ain't all flying all the place.
Right.
That just wasn't him. For,
Was his stomach covered up?
I mean, I mean, I mean the
Lord.
Patriots with Brady was a reflection of Bill. Bill was the man, and he had people in place around him to do what he wanted to do. Brady on that field, Brady was the man, and it was people around him, and they did what needed to be done in order and run the process that was in place. It was
well,
a
It was
direct
a
reflection.
fine
It
tuned
was a fine
well,
machine.
they
tune,
they
Yes, it
and it
did
was.
and,
they
and it, like I
listen.
said, they just happened upon the land upon the talent of Tom Brady.
What they also did, listen, allegedly, what happened to Brady's phone when the deflate gate and his phone was broken?
Hmm.
Yeah. So,
I always
Like I
call him
said,
Bella Cheat anyway. So
well,
like I said,
look, I don't think,
a
I'm not going
reflection
to
of
say,
Belichick.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
not going to say he cheated, but there are some questions that I have for him. If me
he
personally,
cheated.
Man.
well, me personally, the type of person I am, I'm gonna ask him if I ever meet Brady. I'm gonna say, Brady, what happened to your phone that time when it got broke? Because that's just me. If y'all are around, you're gonna hear me ask him because I'm gonna ask him to his face, like, what happened to your phone? And I would bet money he would be like, well, I don't think he would ask what phone. Someone else might would ask what phone. I feel like Brady would laugh.
Right.
Hmm.
He
He
would
gonna
laugh
laugh and
and
say
just
no comment.
thank you very much because we
Yeah.
all know what phone we're talking about. So let's
Hmm.
talk about because we're talked about Billy B in New England. Let's talk about the Chiefs because we all hear about the Chiefs they're a dynasty now. Oh,
Yeah.
because they've been to the Super Bowl so many times since Mahomes, all these different stats and things like that, set them up like the greatest thing since sliced bread. Do you feel like that the Chiefs now have a dynasty? We're gonna go Brandie, Cornelius, and Nicole.
Man, that's gonna be up to the other teams in the NFL to make sure they don't get a dynasty. You know what I mean?
Well, they're saying they have a dynasty now.
Oh, because of the three-peat? Mm.
No, yeah, because well, not the three P, but because of how many
They had
times they've
three
been to the Super.
wins.
Yeah, it's how
That's what
many
I
times they've been
mean.
to the Super Bowl, and how many what Patrick has done since he's been there.
I mean, it is what it is. They are a B squad, even though the refs help them, as you say, absolutely. That's pretty crappy, but we got to fix that. But I mean, Mahomes has got talent. I'm not going to deny that. The kid is smart. He's a very very smart quarterback. He's very brilliant on the field. He works hard, but I do see that there are some deficiencies in plays being, stuff being called against them. It does. It just makes it so hard because they are talented and it is there. But as you see and as we all see, there are a lot of times that they don't get called for a lot of stuff that shouldn't happen, and that affects the game every time, every way. So there's got to be something to be done about that. So as far as them being a dynasty, I mean, if it keeps going the way it's going, yeah, they're gonna be a dynasty. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna get all the help they need to make it happen. So
Come here.
Or what
the
I
about
think they
teams,
have potential.
what about
absolutely, they have
Potential.
potential. You're damn right they
who's
do.
dog? Who about you,
That's
Cornelius?
my dog.
Uh,
Dog has something to
what
say
about you,
too.
Cornelius?
His dog said, "Yep."
Oh my God.
Uh-oh.
Listen. It, I, look, there's so many things flying around. I can't even get it out. There's just so many things flying around. The
Man,
NFL scripted. I mean, and they pretty
oh,
much just took
stop
the Tom Brady
it!
script.
Stop.
Script. They took somebody who had a high football IQ, gave him Tom Brady's refs, and now they want to win all the games.
He said
But
scripted.
but I mean, shoot. I mean, them refs
Man,
though.
you
Like,
gotta
yeah,
take
Do
that
you feel
off
like
for
they
a
have a
man.
dynasty though, or no?
I don't. They
Man, you
they got
can't
they
deny it,
have the
man. It
potential.
is.
They
It
they
What
is.
have the
about
It's
you?
potential.
there.
What about you,
I
Nicole?
mean, if they could pull
I
it off
think they
next
have
year.
potential. I
Yeah.
just the last two Super Bowl wins to me were questionable.
Right.
The Philly Super Bowl was questionable, and this last one against San Francisco was questionable too.
I'm going to say absolutely not. They don't, and that's not just because I'm a No, I'm saying it's not just because I'm a Raiders fan. It's
They have
because
potential. They got
well,
potential.
every team that's on that in the league has potential. I mean, otherwise they would not even win any games. They would not even be in the league. These players would not be in the league. They would not be these athletes if all those teams have potential. But I don't feel like the KC has a dynasty. The Bradbury call was questionable in the Eagles Super Bowl. And
Yep.
how dare you not get the MVP? You know, you gave it to someone you want to give it to, not the person that earned it. So that needs to stop,
Mhm.
NFL. That's last year. This year, when we look at the path of them getting there, if I had a penny for every tackle that should have happened against Mahomes, I would probably be, in a lap of luxury somewhere, living
She
on my
said,
own island, eating fish, eating
not the
lobster
island.
even eating lobster every day with my own yacht cruising around. We have
Not
to.
the
They
yacht
have
They're
to be
definitely lucky.
that
They're
no, it didn't.
definitely
No,
lucky.
they didn't get lucky. They didn't get lucky. It was just basically no tackles, freaking happening. So I don't feel like that they're this elite team to where they're so much better than the Eagles, um, uh, San Fran. There are other teams that have great quarterbacks that their players are getting held, not Dak, but I'm saying like as far as the Cowboys defense is phenomenal, but Parsons doesn't get the whole call. Some of those games would have went a different way. So I don't see them standing out so much to where they have a dynasty. I don't see it. I feel like that like other teams that are good teams, they have potential, sure, but so do other teams. Even with our
I
little
think the dynasty talk comes from them making ever since he's been in the league, they've made it to the AFC Championship, correct?
Yes.
okay, so
That's where the dynasty. I think that's where the dynasty chatter comes from.
but this is
Not
the problem.
necessarily the Super Bowl wins,
But that's what
but the fact that ever since he's been in the league and he's been the starter, because he had a year sitting down being groomed and prepped, as
yeah,
opposed to a lot of these other
but
players who started with nothing.
this is the thing. If I'm if my quarterback, if my team is getting calls, if my quarterback can stand one like wide open in the field, right? And two people have clear paths to tackle him and they fall down or they go out of bounds or some stupid stuff like there's a force field and that's preventing them from getting a wide open tackle. Heck yeah, they're going to be able to accomplish this stuff. I would like for people this coming season, because I've been saying this for 2 years, I would like for people this coming season to really watch these games and see these and I'm not talking to where it's like a miss open field tackle, because there's those two. It's just blatant, like he's like there's no one in front of me from preventing me from tackling him, and I just don't make the tackle. Not because I'm missing the open field tackle, but I'm like 5 yards away and I'm just looking at him making a pass, and I'm just standing there looking at him like, oh, well, go ahead and make the pass. Or these calls that they're getting, penalties and different things. We have to really be aware that there are calls that are not happening, tackles that are not happening because for one, as a Raiders fan, I know for a fact that the NFL did not want the Raiders to be number one. They didn't. They didn't. So when Mahomes came in and Brady's return, it's like, okay, Brady's return. We need that next phase. We're going to latch on to okay. If not, why was it Mahomes after Brady when we have other elite quarterbacks? Now we have the Strouds coming in. Let's look at if Mahomes is still going to be considered elite now that we have the Strouds and all these other quarterbacks that are actually elite because they're not getting the calls. They're not getting the reps to be on their side, and they're actually performing. Let's look at how Mahomes performs now, and then we can really decide. Now, Tony says 100% yes, the football gods normally smile upon teams that win and on the road in the playoffs. Buffalo in particular had their chances to beat them, and they couldn't do it. Sorry, Nicole. You ain't going to like it.
No,
but
it's okay.
The results.
They played them tough. I can take that loss by 3.
And this is James because we know he's a Cowboys fan, so he's going to talk about the Eagles. The Eagles imploded and firing a coordinator mid-season when you have the best record in the league was ridiculous.
They did.
I mean, I get
they imploded. What the heck happened?
Look,
they fell.
Say what you want to say. I would tell everybody to pull up that game where they said that Hurts did not get in for the touchdown. He did get in. The line was marked. He did get in. That should have been a touchdown. But there was no replay. There was the commentators talk about the replay, but the refs are supposed to review that. And normally we get to see that. Did we get to see that? Absolutely not. Cornelius, what are your thoughts about all this?
You can have a whole show on the refs.
That's very true. But I mean, but this literally, like you said, the Eagles, like they bottomed out halfway through the season. They came in knocking heads off, as they should have been. They were stacked, and then week 6, the bottom fell out.
Well, no, they were 10. They were 10-1.
I'm sorry, week 10. Sorry, 10. But then the next game, it fell apart. Like, what happened?
Well, my thoughts was on the Eagles was I feel like that, like Burrow, which I think I brought up one of the shows. Yep. I feel like that. Remember I said that Hurts was playing hurt. I feel like that he was not 100% because normally, even like with the QB sneak and like the brotherly shove and all
push.
that. All that brotherly shove, I feel like that he would have normally pushed him more. Because brotherly love, Philadelphia. So, but I feel like he wasn't 100% coming into the season, and I think later it was revealed that he was not 100%. So I get that, but I feel like from the beginning, I think one of the first early podcasts we did last season, I didn't feel like he didn't look 100% to me just by the way he was walking and stuff, all stiff and like like a Tin Man or something.
Yeah,
like he needed his joints oiled.
Exactly. So is there anything that we didn't talk about as we're wrapping up the show? Is there anything that you guys wanted to talk about that we didn't touch upon tonight? We're going to go Nicole, Cornelius, and then Brandie.
No, I think it was pretty good. I think we stuck to the script, the NFL script of the questions you gave us ahead of time and think about the draft and the season and, the dynasty question. And, I was sitting here when you first started. I can't believe it's been 2 years.
2 years with the group?
Yes. Yeah, time flies, right?
It was 2 years. It was 2 years. Yeah, 2 years in November.
Wow.
Yep, wow. 2 years in November 26th, I think it was.
Yeah. But I enjoy it. I think we did pretty good for your kind of end of the season recap.
Thank you. Yes. We'll definitely be talking more, have more shows or whatever coming up. I just haven't had a chance because my work schedule has been insane and just, making sure that, I was fully invested in it. And then, the season was ridiculous. What about you, Cornelius? Anything you want to talk about that we didn't talk about?
Is he muted?
I don't think so. We skipped two. He might have stepped away. What about you, Brandie?
Maybe. No, I think we hit all the topics that you put forth, and it was a good conversation. I look forward to figuring out what's going to happen with all of our teams this season. There's so much in the air. I mean, the Bills are pretty solid. Your quarterback ain't going nowhere, I don't think. And I don't think you guys are going to get rid of your
No,
receivers. I don't think
he's
y'all
there.
y'all there. So, you guys ain't doing too
Yeah,
much. Burrow's going to stay in Cincinnati. They ain't going to let him go nowhere.
Yeah, he's gonna be a
yeah,
They
lifetime
just
Bengal, I
now
think.
they just got him
yeah,
a little bit of some people to work with. So I mean, they might be have a little little something to start the gate out with. We'll see. Um,
yeah.
Man, we got to see what my team's gonna do. There's so much in the air. I would love for them to keep Kurt and let's just stack this defense and then let's go. You know what I mean? And then maybe get somebody else. A couple of free agents out there, and then maybe get somebody to sit behind him that can do something in the event something else happens. Because I mean, what we did last, that just man, we can't do that again. We can't do that again. But yeah, I enjoy being on this and with you and chatting with everyone, and getting to hear other viewpoints and vantage points, and hearing about different things that you know, other how people view things and stuff. But yeah, like you said, the league, we got to get together. We got to figure out like the refs have got to be consistent across the board for every team, not just one team, but all teams. Like, and
Right,
that
exactly.
that's just where it has to
That's gonna
come
be a
down to.
topic in itself.
But
Yeah,
but that's what it is. It's got to be across the board, equal for everybody, and so everybody can get that chance to shine. You know,
right, exactly. I'll probably do a show about the refs, and I'll probably have it where people can call in and discuss or give their viewpoint, because that's probably going to be open dialogue since there's so many different teams and so many different viewpoints. And
right,
I mentioned KC because they're in our division, but I also know because I like Parsons. I see him being held. I love Lamb. Because, like I said, when he was drafted, I text two of my Eric is in the group, and one of my really good friends is a Dallas fan that I talk to like every day. I'm like, oh my gosh, you have guys got Lamb, and he's going to be phenomenal.
right,
And I knew that from the beginning. I wanted him because you got the Dallas picked a couple, before us, and I was like, oh my gosh, that made me hot. But I was like, well, at least he's in the league. I know he's going to be great. So I think that's a topic just across the board, not just against KC, but the reason why I mentioned KC so much is because they're the ones who's benefit and profited the most from the
Yep.
nonsense, from the okey dokes,
right,
When it's
versus
really crucial too.
other teams. Now, if it was other teams that were going to Super Bowls and getting Super Bowl wins or getting playoff wins and stuff like that, I would have mentioned them because I don't really care the team. I'm going to say it how it is, whether it's against the Raiders. You guys know that. Whatever the team
Yep.
coach or whatever, I'm going to say how it is. Like it or dislike it, that's my opinion. If I don't like something about the Raiders, I'm going to say I don't like this about the Raiders. I was glad we got rid of that old broke back coach. I said that. So, it is what it is.
right.
Cornelius, are you there yet?
I'm here.
Okay. So, is there anything you wanted to talk about that we didn't touch upon?
Man, I agree with you about the referee across the board, like just being equal across the board. That's what the sports needs. That's what the league needs. Like it just, whew.
Yes,
It just drives my it just makes you want to drive somebody head through a wall. Like it's just ridiculous. The calls, the no calls, and the calls it made. Like, or really, you
right.
called that? Like I just seen somebody look like they got punted in the face 2 plays ago, and just because somebody flick water on somebody, you want to call that? Like it's ridiculous.
It
But
takes
Yeah.
away from enjoying the game for
it
Yeah,
really
sure.
does. It
yeah,
it really does.
yeah.
It as a fan, like it's tough to see, even when it's not my team. Like I'm like, really?
Yep.
Like it just drives it just like putting nails under a steel nail under your fingers. Like
Yeah,
it just
I think
it's
I'll do
just
a show with that and have people call in. The thing with the issue with the refs, what I don't like about it is the fact I feel like it ruins the game because these players
Yep.
Absolutely.
work so hard. Even the player that we feel like or that other people feel like are not elite, they made it on the team. So these players, this is how they feed their families. This is their life. This is
hmm
their livelihood. This is how they earn their bonuses. This is how they stay on the team. This is how they're able to do all the things and find some type of enjoyment in life. And for a ref to feel like that they're better or that they're so deserving to play God over someone else's life that's outside of what the NFL playbook calls for, I think it's absolutely disgusting. I feel like they should be ashamed of themselves. Because if I'm a player and maybe, maybe my salary is not that great, and maybe if I get the extra sack, if I get the extra block, if I get the extra whatever, I earn my bonus. So that's going to pay for my kid to go to college, and that, you know, preserves my legacy and my generational wealth for my family. And for a ref to feel like they're going to take that away from a player, I don't like that. I don't like that. So I'll definitely do a show to where we're going to discuss the refs and have a call in. Now, James has a question before we go. Who do you feel like was the biggest Hall of Fame snub, if any, this year? We're going to go Brandie, Cornelius, and Nicole.
Uh, you know, I don't know. You come back to me.
Okay, Cornelius, do you have anyone?
I do not have anyone.
Yeah, that's
I
hard.
that there I was just happy that players that I grew up watching and admiring that played. Franny was one, um Devin Hester. It's like I think all around there was a great class that was inducted into the Hall of Fame this year. Like I think and I don't even, and that's not to say that it wasn't. There's always going to be some snubs, but I mean, Hester has been snubbed for how many years? For how many years now? Oh my goodness, he should have been in already. So it's like there's going to be snubs always, but I'm just happy to see those guys that I felt like have been snubbed in the past are finally in.
What about you, Nicole?
I don't think not anybody comes to mind. I think it was a good wide variety of people inducted in there. A lot of teams represented and different players represented. I don't know. I feel like some of these NFL awards and things are popularity contests, and we don't always know the criteria. But they're gonna pick who they want to pick, and hopefully everybody comes and not be like To and say screw y'all.
Right?
Yeah, I feel like I'm the same way. I feel like that, we
Yeah.
all hear players that got snubbed, and I know there's a couple players I could name according to stats and things like that compared to other people in that they feel like they were snubbed. But like Nicole said, I do feel like it's a popularity contest. I also feel like that it depends upon what team you played on and when you played, because it
Yeah.
took a long time for some of our players to get in. So I do feel like that, the NFL needs to take some stock at how they go about stuff and really look at how they induct people into the Hall of Fame and go about this NFL playbook. It needs to be more consistency across the board. If you do this, this, and this, and it's just like you said, it's a popularity contest because we even look at like the Pro Bowl. What is that about? So it's a mess. It's a hot mess. I'm gonna have to call somebody tomorrow. Now I'm just playing.
Girl,
I missed the
She
Pro
said,
Bowl being after
wait a minute.
after the
You
Super
said,
Bowl. That's what
wait a
I
minute.
miss.
Wait a minute. You
"Yeah,
said you needed
I
couch time, baby. Oh, you need couch time. Oh, baby.
No, you know me.
yeah,
I'll straight call up over there. I'll call up.
Look, look.
About to look. I'm about to go over there.
yeah."
You
I
gonna
feel,
be
but I feel the same way though. I feel like the Pro Bowl should be after the Super Bowl, so that
I feel
all.
like the Pro Bowl should be a whole different thing. I mean, to me personally, and I used to do like posts and stuff like that about how I feel about different things. I'm gonna tell you why I don't, because you guys all know I did that. I found that sometimes I would post stuff and someone would disagree with me and they forgot that we were in the same groups together. They would take what I said and say it like they said it.
Hmm.
So I don't do it as much. But I will say, which I said before with the Pro Bowl, I feel like it should be different. Now, this is my take on it. I don't have a problem with the Mannings, but I feel like it's nepotism to where the NFL feels like these people are great. Who are they to decide for me that I want to look at the Manning brothers. No, I'm saying, who are
Right.
going to decide for me that I want to look at the Manning brothers all the time? Are they the only brothers that are in the NFL? So
No.
if we're
Nope.
going to do the Pro Bowl to where we're going to have brother against brother, get the Barbers on there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And as much as I hate to say it, get the K's, the Kelseys. Maybe we'll have Taylor
Yep.
Swift. Maybe she'll sing something. Maybe we'll do a halftime show.
It'll
You
fill it
know,
up.
We
if,
could get
if
the Diggs
that's what I'm
brothers.
saying.
Fill it
We could
up.
do the dig.
Listen,
If we're
it'll
gonna
fill it
pit
up.
brother against brother, have brother against brother, the Chubbs. Get me something real. But if you're not gonna do that NFL, I'm calling BS. And I'm calling you out on that as well, because I feel like that you feel like you're going to decide who's great, even though they may not be the greatest and best choice.
I mean,
And you're
I would love to
picking,
see a rivals. Like I would love to see oh my goodness. I can't think of I can't I've been on the road too long.
See.
I've been on the road too long.
I don't mind rivals. I like the
I,
family member against family member. So I feel like since they've already started with the Mannings, let's get all the retired brothers that are not in the NFL next, now.
You
And
got the Barbers.
that's what I
Yep.
You got the
said.
McCourty. Is it the
McCourties.
McCourty twins?
McCourty twins. Yep.
You have a lot. You even have,
Uh-huh.
even if they're not retired, you have the Bosas. You have people, if they're not playing, you can have them out. Let's
You could
be,
have father and son.
yeah, cousin, family member, whatever. If
Yep.
you could do so much NFL, but you're choosing who you're going to put in our face or not, because you're promoting. The Manning brothers have a show. The Kelsey brothers
Yep.
have a podcast. Now we have to look at them. And I think it's disrespectful last year when you talked about the Kelsey brothers, like they were the only brothers or the only family members. You didn't even talk about the first, and I don't even like this stat, but you didn't even talk about the first African Super Bowl with African American. You completely glossed
Yep.
over
Quarterbacks.
the
Yep.
quarterbacks. You didn't even talk about
Yep.
that.
Yep.
That was history in the making. You
Yep.
know
Yep.
you want to do stuff, but you want to do it the wrong way.
Yep.
Someone
They got to spin their narrative. That's what that
You
is.
need to give me
You know
a call
that.
to discuss. You need to give me a call to discuss before you do something next time, NFL. Really.
Something.
Look, I'm promoting myself.
Look. Something.
You know they got to spin the narrative. They got to make America happy.
Do you really feel like that's America? Or do you feel like that's
Way.
the NFL? Because, okay, so let me ask you this. Do you feel like that's what America wants to see, or that's what the NFL wants to show us?
Both.
I think
Both.
there's
Both.
absolutely there's both.
I beg to
Absolutely
differ.
both. There's parts
I
I
beg to
don't.
differ.
I don't.
There's
Look.
parts of people that want to sit there and look at the Manning brothers. They feel that's the all American way, the sport, whatever, blah blah blah, however you want to call it. Absolutely, there's some people that really love watching that, and then there's those ones that are like, no, give somebody else a chance, or just get off the screen and let's watch the game. Like, what are we doing?
Well, this is me because I don't care.
Listen,
The
I want
people,
to see
the
the game.
people, the people that sat, the people that wanted to keep it the Manny's way, and we know what we're saying by that.
Mhm.
First and foremost, y'all said you
Yeah.
wasn't even going to watch football
Wasn't
anymore.
even going watching no more.
You
Shut
was
up.
not even going to be tuning in. So
For those in the back of the room,
why are
did you
we?
not
Why
hear
are we
that?
even worried about them? I feel like that we need to change. I'm saying that they did not. They did say they were not going to watch it anymore.
You're not wrong.
So how you even know who's on television? So I
Right.
do feel like you have a small demographic that want to keep it that way. But the way I grew up, I wasn't raised that way. So the way I see it, I feel like the NFL needs to not promote certain things, because if I'm the NFL and that's what I'm promoting, I'm teaching the younger generation, I'm teaching even this generation, my generation, I'm teaching everyone this is the only way it's supposed to be. And if that's what you're doing, then the NFL, you have a problem with amongst yourselves, because it's not the people. People can want what they want. But if the NFL is saying, okay, this is how we feel it should be, then the NFL is the biggest problem.
Right.
because they can choose to do it differently.
That's true.
Yeah, yeah.
They can choose to do it differently, but
That's
they're
true.
not. It's like they chose to have, and I don't have an issue with Taylor Swift. I love Taylor Swift. I listen to her when I'm on the road daily. If I'm in my car, I love her songs. I feel like that she's probably one of the greatest, if not the best storytellers when it comes to music in generations in our lifetime. That she's just like that. But the NFL chose, people are talking about Taylor Swift. I don't really care who Travis Kelce's dating.
Right.
I the NFL chose to make us aware of who he is.
That a big deal.
The NFL chose to capitalize on the Swifties in their pocketbooks because
Yep.
Yep.
Taylor Swift,
Sure did.
she was shown for about a minute, probably a couple minutes out of the entire season. And it was like $500 million.
And people lost their damn minds.
$500 million
Yep.
she made for Kansas City Chiefs in the NFL. Taylor
Yep.
Swift, if she wants,
It's dollars.
that's what I'm saying, in dollars. Now she performs in front of thousands of people herself. She's a
Yep.
billionaire without NFL. She didn't need for them to
Yep.
do it. She sent a cease and desist letter to the Chiefs saying, "Do not play my music. Do this. Do not show me any commercials." She didn't have to do that. She could have said, "Hey, you show me X amount. This is my fee. I'm going to make money on that too." She chose not to do that. So I don't have a problem with Taylor Swift. The
Right.
issue is I paid my cable company to show me the NFL game. They chose
Right.
to show me Taylor Swift.
That's
Yep.
right.
So I'm going to call my cable company tomorrow and say, "Hey, listen, I need to get a discount because this is what you decided to do." And I feel like if everyone did that, then they would stop showing Taylor Swift, because she didn't
It
ask.
just became a huge distraction. It was unnecessary.
The
Oh, for
NFL
sure.
did that.
And she
People
didn't
lost their
ask for that
mind.
at
People
all.
She
lost
just
their
wanted to see,
He
mind.
wouldn't ask for that at all.
she just wanted to see her boyfriend in some tight pants. That's it.
She already had
I'm
a song talking about the haters gonna hate. Now they hating even more. Shit. I mean, she can't get a break.
The only thing she said was, I'm gonna go watch Travis, wear some tight pants,
Tight pants. It's
and
fine.
roughhouse some guys on the
Let's
field.
go. Let's go. And drink beers with his mom. It's gonna be fine.
That's all she
At the
did.
end of the day, we know all the NFL want is ratings and they want a good reputation because that equals dollars. So that's what it came down to for them.
Yeah, but see, the NFL, when they do so, they have to be very careful, because if it's me, then this is me, because I just think differently. Okay, so the NFL, I'm an actress, or I'm a singer, but I don't want to throw no names out there. I'm Priscilla, I'm famous. I got my own little tour coming up, and you're not showing me. I attended the game as well.
Yep.
So you didn't even show that I was at the games. Now, as if you were famous, do you feel like that's discrimination? Because I was not shown not one time on your little prompters for your
Right.
fans.
Yep.
Now,
Because she's not the only famous person that is with a player or married to a
that's
player
what
or
I'm saying.
dates a player
I
We
mean,
have
you got
so
or
many.
Simone
attends a
Biles.
game.
But let me
Hello.
ask something.
You
But it
got
was
Simone Biles in Green Bay. What we talking about, y'all? Hello.
Yeah, exactly. But do you feel like
yeah, but we don't see her.
Yeah, you
do
did.
you feel
Yeah,
like
we
that
did.
would you call
Oh yeah, they
discrimination
did.
on that,
Oh yeah,
Cornelius? Would you say it's
they showed her on the
discrimination?
Green Bay games. Yes, they did.
They showed her a
Yeah.
little bit, but not so much. Cornelius, would you feel like if you're famous and they didn't show you, didn't give you the same FaceTime or some FaceTime, would you feel like you're being discriminated against?
Oh, we lost him again.
Nicole, would you feel like you're discriminated against?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
You?
But it's the draw. It's Taylor Swift is in a different category than most of your celebrities.
But that's not
Absolutely.
the point. That's not the point. The point is that,
So it's the draw.
well,
So
you're
I get
okay,
it.
but this,
But yes, I definitely would feel discriminated against.
but you're saying that she's in a different category. There's other billionaires that come to the games. They're in the suites or whatever like that. So if you're going to keep it in the same category, I didn't see them being shown up on the prompter.
You know, it's
Just at the
funny.
Super Bowl.
You know, that's
Just at the Super Bowl.
but
Randy,
that's funny. Like, I mean, I hear. I remember back in the day, like, watching football on TV when we have some famous actors, like when Jack Nicholson would go to
The
football
Lakers
games,
game.
Yeah.
Lakers games. They would scan the crowd and show the famous people, like at the basketball games. They did that only but a handful of times at any football games because they're focused on the field, obviously. But they would scan to the press box or to the team boxes and be like, "We're joined tonight by such and such every once in a blue moon." I just believe it's
Yep.
because it's Taylor Swift and it just took this whole other life to it. People have another issue with it, and the NFL capitalized on it, and it's blah blah blah, and it's all of that. But what I'm saying is, no different. They do show other celebrities at football games watching the football games in the damn boxes, y'all. Just because she's
Yeah,
Taylor Swift.
I don't see that. They don't show it on they don't show it on this is
Not to that extent.
Not to
Not
that
to that
extent.
wait,
extent.
Okay, not to that extent. You are correct.
It's
You are
one
correct.
thing. It's one thing to show. Okay, so if I'm at a live game, it's one thing to scan the crowd to show at a live game the people that are in the stands going to see that. But what's aired to me, sitting at home, is just Taylor Swift. It's not all the other people. So we're talking two different scenarios to where at a live game, I'm showing up on the big teleprompter who's at a game, but that may not be a live feed. Would you, Cornelius, before we go, do you feel like that would be discrimination if they didn't show you on the live feed like they're showing Taylor Swift if you were at this big skybox? Or would you be like, man, whatever?
I wouldn't care. I came to enjoy the game. If I want to see my face, I can Google it. Like
There it
I
is.
don't I I,
Say
would- I
that.
don't care. Like
Well, I feel like that the reason why they showed her, for one, because of the money, of course, that's number one, because the Swifties, number one, and two, there's KC. And that's why I said all this little
but
KC
you
mania, wait a minute, all this little
uh,
KC mania and all this stuff we need to put a hold on that, because if she were dating someone else on a different team, I wonder if she would have been shown as much. But now we have this dynasty talk with KC, and they could do no wrong, and the Golden Child and all this stuff is all this hoopla, holleration, and all this stuff. I feel like it's more so that. But
no,
before
because
we
even
go,
if it doesn't matter who she was dating, because it could be somebody on another team, it could be somebody on Tampa Bay. Because of who she is, she's going to draw that
Football
attention.
game. That's right.
she's gonna draw the attention. I'm
She's
talking
gonna draw
about
that attention.
why she's shown so much. She's
But
gonna draw.
she would be shown even more if she was on dating somebody that was on a losing team.
I doubt it.
Absolutely.
I
I think
disagree.
so. I think
Because they have
absolutely
Listen,
to
would.
keep people
Giselle made more
interested.
money than Tom Brady, and you never,
Thank
hardly
you.
ever saw
Thank
her on
you,
the
And
Nicole.
screen.
Thank you very
Ever.
much. Okay, so excuse me.
she still don't have
Before we
the
go,
same pool that Taylor Swift has either.
Cornelius, before we go, because we have to wrap up now because we're actually running a little bit over time. We'll have bring that back a different show because this is going to be ongoing topic. We already know because Travis has like one more year of ball if he plays. Before we go, do you have a message for your division and for the rest of the NFL? Like, what's your message to your division and the rest of the NFL? We'll go Brandie, Nicole, then Cornelius.
I'm just gonna put them on notice. Watch out. See what we do. See how we rebound. I believe we're gonna put some stuff together and we're gonna work through it. So just put them on notice. Be on your tips and toes and be ready for it.
Is that for the Lions too?
For the Lions, for sure. You daggone right. They better be ready.
I gotta mess with it. I gotta mess with it.
Be ready. Cut it out.
You
Listen,
guys, you
honey,
guys are
they've been
answering that.
scrappy for years, and we
Brandy
both
knows
know this.
she knows she's one
Scrappy
of my
for
favorite
years.
people. So I'm just messing
They've
with
been
her.
listen. We both know this, and I've always said this. The Lions, I've told them for the last 2-3 years for people to be on the lookout because they were scrappy, and I see what they did in the last draft, and that was proof was in the pudding. Seeing the last season, now they better be on their toes because I believe we're gonna try to come for their heads because we ain't got no choice.
Do you hear that, Tiffany and Amanda? She coming for y'all. What
We ain't got
about
no
you,
choice.
Nicole?
We coming.
What about you, Nicole?
I'm just gonna say nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. We are the beast of the East, and I think we have the potential. The AFC is in really good hands, but I think we have the potential to get there. I'm gonna keep hope alive.
What about you, Cornelius?
Listen, Joey B will be healthy. We coming with a revamped offensive line. We
Okay.
coming with new cornerback. We coming. We coming
Mhm.
for our conference, and then we coming for our Lombardi.
Now, as far as
Mhm.
me, I'm a Crosby on this. I don't want nobody to knock Casey off. I feel like we need to do that because I'm with it. I'm with it. I want Jones. My whole mentality is I'm Jones looking at Mahomes corner for the court for the touchdown. I want his
All
face
right.
belt twisted up when we tackle him. We ain't no threats. It's a promise.
All right.
That's just me. Now, as far as the rest of everyone else, I really feel like the Raiders, we're poised to win a Super Bowl. I've been saying that for 2 years, but with to get rid of the broke back quarterback, head coach, you already know what that was. I mean, but I feel like we're poised to really, really, get real spicy coming up this season. But hey, we'll see. We'll
Right.
see. We'll see. I'm Raider Nation no matter what. No matter what. No matter what. So it was good to have you guys on. We're definitely going to try to have more shows on weekly. We'll get a set day. If you're listening to this or if you're in the group, send me a message on how you feel about a Sunday podcast about 4 p.m. Since we don't have games, we could run a little bit longer. Maybe do some call ins or have different people signing in at different times so we can keep it going for a little bit since there's no games. I'm torn around with that idea. Probably not this weekend, but for next weekend. But as always, thank you for being in the group, National Football Lovers on Facebook. I've had a blast the last couple of years. I'm looking to do a couple new things this coming off season into the upcoming season. So look out for those. As always, thank you for being on. I definitely look forward to having you back.
All
Thank you for
right.
having
Thank
Thank
you
you
for
us.
for
having me.
having me. All
Thank
You're
right,
you.
y'all.
welcome. Everyone
Bye,
have a good night.
everybody.